What's up, everybody? This is Harry Bernard Taylor coming at you once again. This is Straight Up Wrestling Show podcast. I'm with my man Christopher Burton,
the People's Podcaster.
Yes, and we're gonna run down this past week. We're gonna run down Raw. We're gonna run down WWE NXT.
And I've got some little bit of insight on some news that I'll probably be sharing with us today at some point this week, or maybe even during the show. Who knows? I may drop some nuggets of information.
All right.
Just gotta wait to find out.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Get to it, man. Let's get to it.
All right. Just a moment. I can't see anything, man. I can't see it on Facebook, man.
We on though, we on mine.
Okay. I just don't see it. But okay, we're gonna get to Raw. Forget it. I don't have to see it. As long as Chris see it, we're all good. All right, man. Nick, we on WWE Raw. Nikki Bash segment with Charlotte and Rhea. Charlotte and Rhea. I thought it went well. You remember that?
Yeah, man, I remember that, man. Nikki came out there and basically said, "I've been waiting my whole career to say this. Welcome to Monday Night Raw and all." And
oh yeah, with a cape on and all that.
Yeah, man, yeah. And she all happy and yay, I'm the champ, yay, and all this. And then Charlotte basically comes out and tries to take her thunder and debunk her and say basically it was a fluke that you won and people like you don't deserve it and stuff like that, just not trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Try to belittle her. That's what I'm looking for. Belittle her.
Right.
I
thought the segment went I thought it went well. It just went a little too long because it was like 18 minutes, and that's before the first match. But one thing I didn't like about it is sometimes she's kind of like positive, but she's negative too. Because Nikki.
No, who you talking about, Charlotte or Nikki?
No, I'm talking about Nikki. Because Nikki, she is with this almost superhero thing. It's a good thing, but she's like, well, if I don't succeed, I succeeded, I've reached my dreams. But Charlotte was saying I can, beat you, and you're not on my level and stuff like that. And when I get you in that ring, next time, and I'm gonna take this title and stuff like that. And then Nikki was like, if I don't beat you and stuff like that, as long as I almost beat you, that's okay and stuff like that. And it's just not a good message, man. So
no, it's not. It's not a message at all, man, because that's the whole premise of a character, man. Almost getting there, finally getting there, overcoming the odds and succeeding.
Right.
So it kind of backfired now that you said that, and I think about the fact that she did say that.
Yeah.
And then Rhea Ripley comes out, and she's not necessarily attacking Nikki, but she's going after Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because she has ill will towards Charlotte, rightfully so.
Right.
So now it's basically a triple threat match at SummerSlam.
Yeah. And that's one thing I really didn't want. Because we know what's gonna happen pretty much. But yeah, I did not want that.
So you think Charlotte's gonna get it back?
Do I think Charlotte's gonna get it back? Yes, I think she's gonna get it back. Right now, man, they're looking to put all superstars out there with what AEW is putting. They want to make sure that they stay ahead of AEW. Even though Vince McMahon said today AEW is really not competition. Like
he did say that. He did.
He said it's not competition like WCW was. So but he knows that they're knocking on his doorstep.
Oh yeah, he definitely has a ear to the pavement, so he knows what's going on over there.
Yeah, no doubt.
And if you watch SmackDown tonight, which we'll talk about it later, but John Cena was out there in the opening segment, and he was basically talking about Stone Cold, The Rock, and everything. And then he also said if The Rock came back, and he doesn't change, answering what Roman said about him not changing and everything,
Right.
and gimmick. He was like, it wouldn't be the same. And he's like, if The Rock does come back and whatever, hinting that he could possibly maybe come back, but we're saying, but what the word is, he's gonna come back during Survivor Series, which is around November, Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Vince knows what he's doing, man. He hears the rumors, he hears the rumblings, so he's trying to stack up. So if and when the inevitable does happen, he can some way counter it.
Right.
So he's saying it's not competition, but it's competition.
It's competition. It's definitely competition.
It may not be on that level, but it's still competition.
Right. There's no doubt about it. And I mean, and they actually will be right there with Raw if Raw did. I mean, not Raw, but WWE. But WWE is running 3 shows. They have a big roster. So, and then okay, right after this, the segment, and Charlotte, after she's in there, she's ripping Nikki. They went to Damian Priest, and he had his little segment. He's talking about Sheamus and when and what he's gonna do once he get a hold of Sheamus. And then they went back to Nikki, and Nikki was still in the ring, man. And this after 18 minutes of her in the ring, and Charlotte is just ridiculing her. And Rhea came out there for a short while. So that right there was just a waste of time, man. And I was like, wow, why in the world is Raw doing this, man? Just
it was a waste of time.
Yes, it was.
Now you see why I really don't like Raw. And I'm going to be honest, and I've told you this privately, and I'm going to say this publicly. So fans, you can mark this down, record it, play it back. I don't give a damn. If it wasn't for this podcast, I wouldn't be watching Raw. I would not be watching it. I would care less about what happens at Raw. Because if it wasn't for this podcast, I promise you, no.
Well, I'm gonna give you my opinions on Raw, and I went back to the history of Raw, and I remember when it
come a long way. The product has come a long way now.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I thought about it from the get-go, and you remember when they had I think they had WWF Saturday night. Now I would watch that, but I wouldn't watch Raw when it first came out. This was before WCW started their Nitro and all that. I would not watch Raw. And so we'll go back to that later on, but we're going to go ahead and jump into this. Damian Priest versus Sheamus. What you think about that match? That was the first match.
Oh, my God. That whole storyline they have with Sheamus has de-elevated that title so bad.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I agree.
So bad. I mean, I don't even know how to put it in words, man. Sheamus' nose is healed because he obviously lost the face guard.
Right.
His nose is healed. But now he's going to be playing it up. Oh, he broke my nose again. He broke my nose again. Blah, 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 blah.
In the match, man.
Yeah.
Get the doctor out here.
It was an okay match.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't nothing that, I mean, I would just, yeah.
Right. Well, I thought it was a good matchup physically. I thought it was a good matchup physically. But Sheamus has more talent than what he showed in this match. And
yes, way more.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And for some reason, I think they were setting him up, man, to I don't know what they're trying to set this thing up for, but Damian Priest went ahead and won the match with his signature move. And then Sheamus started crying at the end, man. My nose, he broke my nose again, and I'm just like, you're trying to make the guy look like he's soft, man. And we know Sheamus not soft like that.
Good God Almighty, no.
I mean, that is.
I mean, you gotta think, man. If Sheamus was in a straight up bar fight,
right,
put all my money on him.
No, you got that right. Yeah, that is one tough guy. But Yeah, Damian Priest went ahead and won the match, and like you said, it was an okay match. But I'll go ahead and give it a 3.
I will honestly say at some point, because I know they're gonna give the title to Damian.
Right.
When they give him, they're gonna give it to him, and if they don't, it's stupid.
Right.
Because, like I said, you got Sheamus playing this whiny, oh God, my nose is gonna be broke again kind of persona.
Right.
That ain't.
Yeah, that ain't gonna roll too well, man. It just because everybody knows Sheamus is a tough guy, and he's been tough for a long time, and now he's turned into this guy. He's never been like that. It's something that he's whining and crying, man. So that just
I give the match I'll give it a 2.
Okay, but I'll give it a 3. So we'll go ahead and we'll go with a 2.5. That's the straight up wrestling. That's the straight up wrestling show final numbers on that. We'll give it 2.5 stars.
Yeah.
Okay. The Viking Raiders versus AJ Styles and Omos. What you think about that one?
I don't know how many more times I'm going to have to be forced to watch this horse and buggy show.
Right.
God almighty, boy. I'm trying to be positive, y'all. I really am.
Yeah.
When you see the same thing over and over,
they keep pulling it out,
and the outcome is going to be the same. Some things may change, but I don't know, man.
And that right there is one of the problems why, I mean, you have to build a tag team division.
Yes.
That won't have this thrown in there week after week after week. That's all we see. That's all we're seeing pretty much.
Yes.
From WWE and a few other tag team matches here and there, but we're seeing this as the signature tag team match over and over again.
They don't have any other tag teams, man.
Right.
If they have any other teams, they on SmackDown.
Right.
So you have no tag team division except for these two.
Yeah. And I heard Vince McMahon say, somebody said Vince McMahon doesn't really care about tag team wrestling. Said it don't draw, but Jim Cornette was talking about, tag team wrestling draws. It does. And I remember
if you promote it and use it right, it will.
That's right. I remember when Bischoff came in, when he took over WCW as president, and he pretty much, and Bischoff stopped it. He said he didn't like tag team wrestling, but WCW, man, had the best tag team division ever. I mean, when he came in and took that thing over, they had the best tag team division. Nothing could touch that, and it drew. I mean, everybody went out to see Midnight Express. Rock and Roll Express had a huge following. Let's see, Arn and Tully, huge following. Man, so you had, I mean, that tag team, the Road Warriors. When you had the Russians, man, it was a huge tag team division. I mean, it was large, man. And
over time they got older. Tag team started phasing out.
Right.
And bring some names back every once in a while.
Yeah.
That nature, to build it up and kind of get things going.
Because it went from there to, like, you had the Nasty Boys, you had Harlem Heat, Doom and all them. But they still had a good tag team division. It wasn't as good as it was before, but it was building up because, like I said, they was all new names. So, I mean, but yeah, tag teams can draw because WCW, we saw it plenty of times before where they will have the main event will be downtown Greenville, 16,000 people with the Steiners against Doom. So it sells, man. And you had the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express.
But with this here though, man.
Yeah, this right here is just it's out of hand, man. And
I'm like this, man. How many times? And I'm just gonna come out and say it.
Okay.
How many times can you watch AJ wrestle 2 against 1?
Right. And see, man, I was gonna in that match, the Viking Raiders, man, pretty much, they was blocking Omos out from getting into the ring, and they was pretty much double teaming, pretty much running running some plays on AJ, man, and pretty much.
How many times can you watch AJ 2 against 1?
Yes, and
like
and I was gonna give the match a 2.5, Chris, but I had a hard time believing that the Minnesota Vikings could do that to AJ.
what? What you?
Minnesota Vikings line can't do that to AJ, man. So I was like, I had a hard time with that, man. So I couldn't give it a 2.5, man. So I had to bring it down, man. I don't even know what I brought it down to, man, because I didn't even write that down. But I was real disappointed in that, man, because I'm like, even though these guys are kind of big and everything like that, but they can't do that to AJ, man. AJ, I've watched AJ dominate these guys plenty of times.
Oh yeah,
he's dominated both of them, and he's up there looking at Omos and stuff like that, man. They blocking him out from getting to Omos. And when Omos getting there, man, Omos just pretty much dominate Eric and Ivan. Was it Ivar? I mean Ivar.
Yeah.
So Eric and Ivar. He pretty much dominate them, man. But I'm just like, man, who won that match anyway?
That's a good.
AJ Styles and Omos won the match.
Yeah.
But I mean, they put it like I said, they put it where like these guys could dominate AJ, man, and it just didn't work for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop it down to a 1.5, man. Because
I give it a 1, man.
Yeah, I had it at 2.5, but
because Omos, boy, I'm getting tired of that.
That's all he do, man. He's grabbing people by the neck and things like that. But it's just they could do so much better.
I'm like, Andre the Giant had a bigger move set than you.
Yes, he did.
Yes, and you're more agile than Andre.
Right.
So why you don't have a better move set than that?
Who knows, man?
That's pathetic.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next thing, man. Jinder Mahal came out with his attorney, with an attorney, speaking a bunch of garbage, man, and talking about he's gonna sue Drew McIntyre because McIntyre got a hold of this guy and just beat him to death.
There's more of your stuff
with that chair, man, at his back.
That's you, man. That's you, man. You all that violent chairs and jumping people and all that, man. That's
too crazy, man. Hey, man, that was some extreme violence, man. I mean,
that's how you like it, man.
Man, Drew McIntyre.
You see what he did to the boy last week?
Yeah.
20 or 30 something chair shots.
Yeah, man. Wow.
That man arm probably, man.
Well, now he says he's gonna sue him with this attorney, man. But the attorney got his too. so it's a double suit. So Drew got the attorney too.
Man, and the attorney didn't do nothing to nobody. Drew just want to beat people up, man. Beat up an attorney, huh? Man, come on, man.
Yeah. But man, I mean, when it boils down, man, it boils down to it. It still was pretty much garbage, man. It brought the show down.
Okay, and think about this, man. What kind of match they gonna have at SummerSlam? Because it's gonna come down SummerSlam. I mean, was it gonna be a hard match? I mean, what? I mean, man, now, ladies and gentlemen, now you see why Raw is trash.
All right, what you think about that Drew versus Veer match, man? Okay, so he wrestled Veer.
Veer looked good, man.
Huh?
That dude looked good.
Yeah, Veer looked good in that match, man. I thought
that dude looked good, man.
Yeah.
That was really my first time truly watching him by himself.
Yeah, I mean he's
he looked good.
I mean
he can do his thing, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was really shocked, man, how how limber he was, man, and like you say, man, the man can go, and the man got power, and he's athletic too. So that was kind of stunning. So
it shocked me, man, because when you think of Indian people,
right,
you don't think they get that big, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. And
because most Indians, you like I said, you don't see them that big, man, and
they don't eat the kind of foods, man, to get big.
Yeah, but that dude, though.
Yeah, he got some size to him, man. I was real shocked.
But Drew came away with a win.
What's that?
Drew came
away with the win, man. Then wait a minute. Okay, it was disqualification, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
disqualification, man. So I was just wondering what's up with this disqualification thing, man, because the way the disqualification came was just it didn't make no sense.
No. So once again, it's WWE and it's Raw. Do you expect what to make sense?
So I'm like, did they just give the disqualification so they can say Drew won without giving an explanation about what went down?
Yeah, and then beat up on the attorney.
Yeah, then he beat the attorney up. So, right. but still, overall, I'll give the match a 3. It's probably deserve a little bit more, a little higher rating, but I'll give it a 3 for right now, because it was because how short the match was, and they went ahead and disqualified Drew without any explanation. So, because I mean, they didn't explain that, man. It was just like
they didn't. I'll give it. I'll give it a. I'll give it a 3.
Okay. So yeah.
Begrudgingly, I'll give it a 3.
All right, man. All right, man. The next we have Eva and your lady, man, Doudrop, man, versus Natalya and Tamina. What'd you think about that match?
I really didn't even watch it, man.
Oh, you didn't watch that match, man?
I'll be honest, I really didn't watch it, man.
Okay.
Because I mean, honestly, man, I'm just gonna put it out there. I tried to watch the whole show and I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't. I wanted to stay up and at least see what Bobby Lashley was gonna do because at the end, he was gonna dress about Goldberg.
Right.
Kind of getting ahead there, but I tried to, man. I was like, I can't do it. I can't stomach it.
Yeah. Yeah, you was having trouble. I remember that, man. When I was talking to you about it. But yeah, Eva and Doudrop, man, I watched the match. And it was an okay match for a while, man. And then Alexa Bliss got involved, that doll, man. so that right there, man, it took away from the match. And it pretty much made the show even worse than what was already going on.
Wow. It got worse. It got worse. Oh.
Well, it got worse right there, man. It made the show worse. But that match, man, I mean, wow. Man, Doudrop, man, was just Eva when she was in that first. I mean, Eva was doing she was doing okay. Natalya had her way with Eva, and Tamina did too, man. But when Doudrop got in there, it was all over, man. Doudrop came in, powerhouse, man. They couldn't do nothing with Doudrop, man. And Doudrop showed a lot of athleticism that I didn't know she had.
Dude, that girl's athletic, man. I saw a clip of her. She wasn't Doudrop. She was under another name or alias. She was working like an independent show.
Right.
And she was a tag or a valet or something to a guy that was wrestling in a cage match.
Okay.
And the match pretty much broke down and everything, and people were outside the cage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People got inside the cage and were fighting. That's what it was. They were inside the cage and fighting. And she was trying to get to help a man out of whoever he was, and she couldn't get in. This chick climbed the cage and jumped off the cage on everybody, bro.
Oh, wow, man. Wow.
Yeah, she literally did a Jimmy Snooker.
Okay. But
she's athletic now. I'll give her that.
Like I say, they took her down, man. Natalya took her down one time, and man, she bridged up, man, and she popped right up into a flip and then came back up on her feet, man. I'm like, what in the world? But yeah, man, that girl is athletic, man. She does her thing too. I mean,
and then what killed me, Eva was like, you just be there in the corner and just be there.
Right.
Don't do nothing or whatever, you just there.
Right.
I'm like, really? Really, says the woman who can't even chain wrestle?
Right. And I thought Tamina could match her strength for strength, man, but no. I mean, and like I say, Doudrop, I mean, man, she's a big woman, but she's not a bad looking woman,
No.
She's not a bad looking woman. And man, she does her thing, but she's swinging her hair like Eva, man, doing that Eva thing, man.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Yeah, but she don't have to do that, man. And I think she's gonna turn on evil one day, man. So
that's gonna happen.
Right. But Natalya and Tamina got won the match, man. But I give the match a 2. You know, so I mean, you didn't see it, but I give the match a 2.
That sounds about right.
Right. But you know, Doudrop, like I said, I was still impressed with what Doudrop was able to do. John Cena, man, they came out and they said John Cena, his appearance on Raw the week before, after he went on Raw, his Instagram post had 3.5 million views, and that was the most in WWE history. So that just goes to show
they miss him. They miss him. They need him.
That shows his popularity, man, and shows what his persona brings back to the company, man.
Yeah.
I mean his placement in the company is very valuable. So they need to hold on to him on that roster as long as they can. But I know it's going to be hard because hey, Hollywood's going to come calling. So
yeah, man. Because I mean, you got to think right now he's on a 15 tour house show tour.
Right.
So and they're calling it the Summer of Cena.
Right.
So it's not like he's just doing these promos, gonna show up at SummerSlam, do the match, and then leave.
Right.
Actually, basically working house shows to get back into ring shape and get his movements back down. Even though I'm sure he's been training outside on his own.
Right.
Now he's actually doing it in the show, and what's so crazy, he's been tagging with Ray and Dominic against the Usos and Roman.
Okay, cool.
So they've been doing 6-man tags.
Okay.
Which is good for Cena because it protects him.
Right.
It doesn't really put him out there, and it lessens the chances of him possibly getting hurt or anything like that, and it saves that mystique for him and Roman at SummerSlam.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. That's something I didn't know. Okay, so the next match, man, which I feel bad for Keith Lee. The next match was Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross.
He came back.
Huh?
He came back.
Yeah, Keith Lee. Yeah, he came back, man. And Keith Lee said,
"Wow."
Keith Lee said that he's going to tell his story this week. I think he said next week. So it should be coming
this Monday.
Yeah, well, he said he's going to go online. He said he's going to go on social media somewhere, and he's going to tell his story. So you and Michael was pretty much right, man. Y'all hit the nail on the head, man. I believe this guy's being punished. But the match with Karrion, it was a pretty good match. A lot of power moves, man. These guys were trying to see who was stronger than each other. Keith Lee's his size pretty much had the advantage at first, but once Karrion was able to figure him out, man, Karrion's his power actually started matching Keith, and then he kind of like wore him down a little bit more by him being in a little more shape, and he tried to what is Karrion's it was the lock he does his finisher.
Shoot! If you didn't ask me, I would have been able to tell you. But it's like a sleeper. It's like a sleeper.
Yeah, he tried to.
He basically locks you up, and he has you like your head right here.
Right.
He got you locked up. Yeah. So
he tried to get Keith Lee in that at first. He couldn't get him in that, and then he got him in that again, and he had to hold it on him for a good while, and and Lee went ahead and tapped out. But Karrion Kross, man, he really this match after what happened, with which one? What happened with Hardy?
Yeah.
So he needed that match, man.
He needed a strong showing because, like I said, he lost against Jeff, and Jeff cheated, which nobody saw coming.
Right. Jeff don't usually do that.
No, so he needed a strong showing.
Yeah.
But why against Keith Lee though?
That's right. And see, Keith Lee needed that match too. And man, and there go Vince, man, taking a little grudge out, man, and doing that to one of his
something's going on back. Something he got some heat backstage. He pissed somebody off and did something.
Right.
And Vince like, okay, I'm gonna knock you down a couple of pegs.
Right. And from what I hear, man, from what I hear from one of the guys, man, that's got a huge podcast, he was saying something about it as a brand thing. And he talks to a lot of people. it's a branding thing. Keith Lee didn't want to give up his name because WWE, man, they like to
own everything.
Yeah, own everything. He didn't want to give up his name because that's his real name, man.
Yeah.
And I think it's.
I mean, if you give me a name like Keith Richardson,
you're right.
Okay, yeah, you can have Keith Richardson. That's not my name.
That's right.
Keith Lee is my real name.
Yeah, and he
was not owning me.
Right, he was using that in the independents before. He used that in ROH. Because I knew who he was way before he went to WWE. I knew who he was. So, I mean, it's crazy, man. But I don't think that's the only thing. It has to be more to it. But I think that's what kicked it off. But Keith Lee, man, they still running the match like Keith Lee had a chance to win the match. But he ended up losing the match, man. But it was a close match. But I'm glad I'm happy for Karen, but I'm sad for Keith too. So but man, it was actually a decent match. I give it a 3.5. It wasn't a bad match. It was a good match. And I mean, I was shocked because both of these guys kind of stiff and they're big, man. But they and Keith's a little bit more athletic than Karrion.
Oh, good Lord, yeah.
But yeah, Karrion, he showed something in this match that he will actually look good against guys his size, because
and it's crazy because Keith Lee, we both know what Keith Lee can actually do.
Right.
Keith Lee is a hell of an athlete. He can really do things and go above and beyond, but he's not gonna ever really get that chance on the main roster.
That's right. Not at all.
He got to on NXT. Yeah. Because as we know, Triple H runs NXT and Shawn Michaels, and they were like, "Oh, show off your athleticism. Show that you can do these things that typical big man usually can't do." Right. But on the main roster, they're gonna stifle you and use you as a typical big man.
That's right. Yeah, and that's just Vince has always been that way. But
yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and talk about what I think about Raw. After talk about the next match. Okay, they had another Nikki Ash segment, which was yeah, and I was just like, man, what are they doing? This is cool. And like I say, it was a little positive, but then you had that negative thing again too. You could feel your dreams and stuff like that, and it's just like if you're going to be a mechanic and you fail. If you fail, it's okay because you almost got it. It's okay.
Almost only works in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, stop with this almost thing because she's putting it out there to people in real life situations.
And you know what's so funny? There's that one person that's gonna take her word as
right. Right.
There's always that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, oh, Nikki said, if I almost made it, I did a good job.
Yeah. I mean, you almost got that job. So, hey, at least you tried. You almost, So just come on now,
And your bills aren't almost gonna stop.
That's right. So I'm like, get her since she won the title. Make her a positive superhero if you want to continue that angle.
Exactly.
So make her a positive superhero and stop that. We don't know if she's positive or negative. And like I say, I'm not putting down Nikki because I like Nikki. It's just she just keep on going. I'm almost she stopped the announcer, because the announcer, man, the person that's the commentator, man, is trying to say, you did this and everything, and everybody proud of you, Nikki, and stuff, and everybody back there, you deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Everybody's pumping her up and everything like that, man. But she up there be saying, and I'll tell you what, if you go out there and you have an interview and it don't go well, but it's okay if you almost get it. Stop it. Stop that. And okay, then okay, Mason T-Bar, man. They okay, Mason T-Bar. We're going to the next match. Mason T-Bar versus Mustafa Ali, and like I said, they're calling him Mustafa and Mansoor. Yeah, they're calling him Mustafa, and we know it's Mustafa.
Mustafa. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
But
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Not
So
well, if it wasn't for this podcast, I swear.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, man, why are they doing this? But
Man.
what's name, man? This Mansoor, and you remember last week he kind of like begged Mustafa to
The team up
team
with
up
him
with him and everything
and
like
teach
that.
him some stuff and all this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And when they coming down the ring, man, when they about to face Mason T-Bar, man, you know Mansoor is just so happy, man. These two guys wrestled each other a couple weeks ago. You know, I mean, and I'm like, man, and when they wrestled each other, it seemed like it was extreme heat. Like, man, they couldn't stand each other.
And I got a question to ask.
Yeah.
You know, one of my wrestling buddies, he asked the same question. So I'm gonna ask it too.
Right.
Fans, can anybody tell me what in the blue hell is a T-bar?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
What is a T-bar?
Yeah. Yeah. I have no
Do you know?
No. I was trying to think, man. Is that some kind of candy bar they used to have, man, back probably?
I don't know if it was a candy bar, a tool, or what.
Yeah,
What
tool or something like that.
What is a T-bar?
Yeah, but
Oh my God.
But you know, Mansoor come out there, man, and Mansoor, he was like, man, you know, I'm pumped up, man. You know, man, we're gonna do this, man. Yeah, he hugging on him and stuff like that. Mustafa is doing all that, man. Mustafa looking at him like, man, what's going on? Then they get in the match, man, and I mean, you know, Mansoor getting there. Mansoor is doing this thing, man. He's punching, throwing some elbows, man, kicking. I mean,
yeah,
you know, he's showing out, man, and
yeah.
And Mustafa or whatever, man, he's looking at him like, oh my gosh, man, I didn't know this guy was that good. And you know, and Mansoor and I mean not Mansoor, but Mason T-Bar are big guys, man. Those
Yeah,
guys are huge. But you know, once you know they had got control, man, they figured out what Mason, because Mustafa got in there, and Mustafa got in there. Man, they must be listening to too much Tupac stuff, man. Like Tupac say, you're a Muslim now instead of a Muslim. So, man, they listening to too much Tupac, man. Hey, you know, this Mustafa guy, I'm going to change my name to Mustafa. That's what Tupac would call me instead of Mustafa or whatever.
Oh, my goodness.
But, okay, Mustafa getting there, man, and, you know, he's kind of, he's a little smaller than Mansoor. And man, he at first he get in there, man, and his offense is playing off of what Mansoor was able to do. So he get in there, man. He's effective at first, man. You know, he jump in the ring, man, come off top rope, bam, elbow smash, and then man, he's kicking him, you know, beating him down a little bit. Then next thing you know, that the big guy Mace, man, grab him by the neck, you know, got him over there. They start beating down Mustafa, man. T-Bar coming in, man, worked him over, man. I was surprised how good T-Bar is, man, especially with a name like that. I'm like, man, why can't you come up with a better name, man? You know,
now, which one is T-Bar?
Yeah, and this T-Bar, what's that?
Which one is T-Bar?
T-Bar is the white guy, and Mace is the black guy. And, you know, and those two guys.
And I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. If you watch NXT when Keith Lee was in there, that was, Dijakovic?
Okay.
Go back and watch. He was he's a bad boy.
Okay.
Because him and Keith Lee came up through the Indies together.
Okay.
So him and Keith Lee know each other very well. And when they was in NXT, they had some matches, and man, they tore the house down on some of them, boy.
Right.
But yeah, ever since they doing this T-Bar stuff, man, T-Bar and Mace thing, it's yeah.
Actually, man, those guys are pretty strong, man. That's a good tag team. I mean, as far as they got a lot of strength, they got a lot going for them.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it seemed like they're holding them back and making them just do power moves, man. But those guys are more athletic than actually what they're showing in Raw. But I mean, I don't know. It was an okay match, man. But I gave it you know, Mace finished it off with a choke slam, which he kept trying to do, man, when he's trying to get these guys, and they're really slippery because they're smaller than him. But he finally got a hold of, I think, Mustafa, and he choke slammed. You know, Mace hit him with the choke slam. Wait a minute. No, Mansoor and Mustafa won the match. Even though Mace hit him with a choke slam, man, Mansoor was able to reverse that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and finish them off, man. So Mansoor and Mustafa won the match, and after the match, man, Mansoor, he just, Mustafa was so surprised, man. He was so shocked at the finish move, and he just looking at Mansoor like, dang, man, this guy's great, man. And they go out of the ring, and Mansoor, man, he just jumping on him like, man, yeah, did you enjoy that, man? Yo, I told you, man, if we get together, we put our heads together, man, we can do anything, man. We such a great tag team, man. Don't you enjoy that? But, I gave the match a 2.5, man. It was okay. So 2.5 stars, which would be like a D plus if we was going by an old rating system. But that's all I can really give it. It wasn't as bad as the stuff that came before it. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna talk to you about Raw, because okay, Raw started. What year did it start? 93, something like that.
Was it 90? No,
I think it was 93.
It might have been 93.
Yeah, when I was around, yes, it had to be around 93, 94, something like that.
Yeah, it was somewhere around that time. Yeah.
It was 3 or 4. It was like 3 years before Nitro started. What year Nitro started? 96 or 95?
I think 95.
Okay, but yeah, it was a couple years before that. But I never would, I always would.
Wait a minute, hold on. We got a comment.
Okay.
From Jeanette.
Okay.
It says T-bar are used for draping. It's straight edge, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow.
Wow. Well,
that's crazy, man.
Damn,
that's crazy. But yeah, we appreciate that comment, Jeanette, giving us info on that.
Yeah. I would have never guessed.
I would watch, because like say WWE, man, I mean WWF. It was WWF at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't like it. I really didn't like it that much. But they had a lot of wrestlers on there that I had watched over the years as I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of wrestlers. So, so of course I followed them. I followed them, but I did not watch them religiously. I didn't watch them a lot. My main thing was World Championship Wrestling, which was Georgia Championship Wrestling, then Mid Atlantic combined with that. Crockett Promotions. Then you had Florida Championship Wrestling, and let's see. So you had Mid Atlantic, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Florida Championship Wrestling was my main 3. And then every now and then we'll get something like Continental, and we'll get like Mid South, which turned into the UWF. Get that. Yeah. So those was my main things. But like I said, WWE was still. I mean, WWF was the big thing.
Yep. That was the show.
So I would check them out. But when they came out with Raw, man, I was like, man, it was. I thought it was such a foolish show. I was like, man, I tried to watch it, and I was like, and they had all the stars on there, but it was
cartoony, man. It was cartoon.
It was very cartoonish. Okay, and it was cartoon. It was cartoonish for a few years, 3, 4 years. They lost Hogan to WCW, but Vince actually was wanting to get rid of Hogan. I mean, well, he didn't want to get rid of him. He just wasn't letting him do anything. He was like, Hogan is getting old.
Yep.
So Hogan went over to WCW. Okay. Then Savage, he had Savage there because I remember watching the broadcast, and Savage was just he was just doing commentary. Savage, he had stopped wrestling. Savage went on over. Roddy Piper was doing mostly like Piper Pits and things like that.
Yep.
And they got very cartoonish after that because they were losing their stars, and they was very cartoonish. And that's one of the reasons I probably didn't watch Bret Hart a lot. I knew he was a good wrestler, but I did not watch him a lot. And the British Bulldogs and everything like that, it was so hard to watch that program. I would catch him on.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I would catch him on. Like I said, I would catch him on WWF Saturday nights. Now I kept watching that. I will catch them there. Excuse me, but I didn't watch their main matches, their main event matches, and things like that they had on Raw, man, because it was so hard to watch. And like I say, it was cartoonish. Okay. Okay. After WCW invaded them, got Nash and Hall. okay, and start getting a lot of the other wrestlers. And you got to admit, a lot of those wrestlers that originally that came back, they came back to WCW. They went to WWE and they became big stars. Okay,
Oh yeah,
because and another little thing, this how silly it was. They took Terry Taylor, who's a great wrestler, made him the Red Rooster, man. I mean, I'm just like, everything was a gimmick with them, man, and it just okay. And then they turned, and to compete, man, they had to switch over to that Attitude Era. Okay, they went to the Attitude Era, which was good. Okay, I was looking at them like, okay, now these jokers are doing real wrestling. They went back to the old Vince McMahon senior days. They were doing all these real things and stuff like that. But then they start slapping women in the ring. I didn't like that. So I'm like, man, even though they stopped doing a lot of the cartoonish stuff, they went to like slapping women in the ring, and it went to a soap opera thing. So to me, it still had that element of foolishness in it. It was just crazy, man. It was just chaos, and I'm just like, man, this right here doesn't belong in wrestling. But like I say, the Attitude Era, it took out dumb things like the Repo Man and garbage that they had. But like I say, that right there kept me in that same mode, like that. Hey, man, these people are just foolish, just doing crazy stuff there. And like I said, I couldn't watch it then. Okay, so after that, the Attitude Era was over. They didn't go back to that cartoon. They didn't go back to that cartoonish stuff. But I had stopped watching wrestling because of what the NWO had done with WCW, and over the years.
And you missed the best years of wrestling ever, man.
Not really. Because if I did, I mean, if we can look at it that way, we couldn't say we will have to the evidence doesn't show that those were the best years of wrestling, because because wrestling kept losing over the years. They've lost a lot of this 2 million people is went out 14 million.
Harry.
It didn't happen overnight, though, Chris. It didn't happen overnight. So what happened? They lost millions.
When the Monday Night War started,
right?
Wrestling was literally at its peak.
Chris, I watched the Monday Night Wars. Remember, I was with y'all then. We was hanging out. I watched the Monday Night Wars. Yeah. I watched all the Monday Night Wars. I stopped watching it when WCW started going down. I stopped watching it a couple years after NWO had started. So I watched all that. I saw that. I saw most of that. I stopped watching it. I actually stopped watching around 2001. I stopped watching it religiously in 99. But in 2001, WCW was sold. That's when I stopped watching it completely. They sold it in 2001. So I saw those years. I didn't miss that. And then I tried to watch it after. I watched some of the WWE. I watched some of their things. But one thing the WWE was able to do, they was able to build a lot of stars.
Oh, yeah.
And over the years. Okay. But they had a huge audience. And every year they kept losing audience. People kept dropping. So there's a reason that, that it kept dropping. But it had a major drop after this last. When did John Cena start basically going to Hollywood? About 4 years ago, I would say.
Yeah, but yeah.
He became a main Hollywood star, pretty much being in Hollywood. Yeah. That's when it really dropped off. Okay. But that, I look
at he's the last. He's the last of the Mohicans, man. He's the last true big star that WWE's put out.
Yeah, he's the last true star that they actually built.
And Vince has always said there's no one person bigger than WWE.
Yeah, right.
He's the last of the trio.
Yeah,
because the three big stars they put out, Stone Cold, The Rock, and Cena.
Right.
After that, there will be no more. I don't care who you are. Roman, if you're a Roman Reigns lover, he ain't never gonna get that status. He's never gonna get there. Well, never. He's never gonna get there. And that's by plan, because Vince saw what happened with the other three. He was like, okay, those three are bigger than the WWE, even though they're not in the WWE. They're bigger than the WWE. And he's like, I'm not doing that no more.
Right.
He's like, I don't care if you Roman Reigns, Goldberg, whoever, whatever, you will not hit that status.
Right.
Nobody will.
Yeah, and see, that's I'm just looking back at Raw and just wondering, because over the years, man, I've always thought they done ridiculous things, but they had so many stars, Chris, that it overshadowed the things that they done that was silly. They had so many stars. And you can look at WCW the same way. WCW done some silly things. They done some goofy, outlandish things, man. They brought in the ding dongs. They had some other little dumb characters, man. Renegade and all these people that were really bad characters. Yeah, but they had so many stars that it overshadowed the foolishness. And that's what I'm wondering what's going on with WWE. WWE, they had so many stars it overshadowed the foolishness, but they don't have those stars no more. And see, back when they used to say, back when WWF used to say, WWF superstars, on Raw, and they used to say WWF superstars. All those guys they used to say that was a superstar, they was actually superstars in a lot of indie promotions and came up. They was huge names in indies before they got to WWF. Junkyard Dog was huge. He was already well known before he got to the WWF.
But you got to figure that time though, that younger generation didn't know him.
Well, I know. I'm talking about the younger generation, but you had a lot of older people. They didn't just have younger people. It was a lot of
yeah. But at that time, WWE was pushing for the younger generation.
Yes, they was.
So you gotta think, even though Junkyard Dog and all Hogan and all them had names before they got there, everybody in my, dare I say, my demographic, and younger,
right,
didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know who the Junkyard Dog was until I saw him in WWE.
Yeah, right.
And that's when I was like, okay, Junkyard Dog, WWE, blah, blah, blah. I understand. I've seen him wrestle. I know who he is. So when he came to WCW, okay, Junkyard Dog. I know who he is. I recognize him.
Because you was young. Because I was a teenager when he went there. I was in my late teens. I was at like 18 when he went to WWF. You was like 8, I think, because you said you started watching Hulk Hogan and Iron Sheik. And that's what I'm trying to, we're going to get off on a little something else. That's the reason I talked when I talked to you about Tony Atlas as far as him compared to Ron Simmons. Tony Atlas, you missed Tony Atlas' prime years was from like 78, well, I'll say 77 to 83. Those was his prime years. And he was one of the top 3 or 4 wrestlers in the business. Tony Atlas is the only wrestler I know who dominated Hogan in the series. I mean, as far as their rivalry, Tony Atlas dominated that rivalry. You can go look it up. Yeah, I can show you in wrestling books and everything like that. Tony Atlas dominated that rivalry. He beat him every time when they both in the WWF. Just before Hogan became a good guy, and that's when Vince McMahon said, Tony Atlas, you could have had it all, but Tony Atlas got on those drugs. Around 85, he got on drugs and everything. He messed his whole career up. But Atlas, he took Ric Flair to a couple 60-minute draws. He beat so many big names. He was just very good. He's very athletic. But he didn't have a whole bunch of movesets, but he didn't have to use them. But I'm kind of like the Road Warriors. Yeah.
I would rebuttal that, but we'll get off on a whole nother tangent if I rebuttal that.
But I know.
I'm gonna leave that for another day.
Yeah. No.
Let's get back to this Raw show.
No, I'm just saying, just a little bit of history, and he done this in the WWF. So when he had Rocky Soulman Johnson and stuff like that, who I think is a better wrestler than Tony Atlas. So but Rocky Soulman Johnson, as far as skill wise, I think Soulman Johnson is better. And but yeah, we're gonna roll on to the next match, man. The Hurt Business. The Hurt Business reunited with they came out. The Hurt Business came out, and they were speaking, and they had some unkind words for each other. And Lashley, The Hurt Business came out there, man, and Shelton Benjamin and Corey Alexander came out there, and they was talking with each other. Alexander was telling Lashley he wasn't that good, and yeah, he wasn't that good, man, and he can beat him. You know, he can take that title. And Shelton Benjamin come out there talking about what makes you think you deserve a shot. You know, I deserve a shot at that title and stuff like that, man. You ain't no good and all that. And then Shelton Benjamin said, yeah, I can take you and stuff like that. And they interrupted because who's the guy, man? Who's this guy? MVP,
yeah.
Up there talking, they interrupted him and stuff like that. And Lashley, man, you know, he gave him his belt and stuff like that. He said, I just take on both of them. You know, like, what? Have a handicap match? Yeah, I'll just take on both of them, man. Man.
I already know, boy.
Man,
she going to the slaughter, boy.
He beat the living daylights out of them jokers, man. I was just like, wow, man.
Man, that was one thing Vince messed up on. He should have never broke up the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
He should have never broke them up, man. They had so much momentum. They had tag belts. And that could have been another tag team.
Yeah.
Alexander and Benjamin. That could have been another tag team. They had all the gold, man.
Right.
The only thing they were missing was the U.S. title.
Yeah, Benjamin actually looked good, man. He actually looked better this week than he did a few weeks back. Because, you know, I was looking at him on the decline. But I just don't think he's ever going to come back. He's going to rise on to the next level on Raw. You know, at least on Raw he's not, man. So he might want to look at something else, man. But, man, like I said, they both got dominated, man. Man, at first, like, you know, Benjamin, man, you know, Corey Alexander got Lashley, punched him in the stomach, man. You know, Lashley went down. Then Benjamin got on him, and then he just pounded him on the shoulder. They were looking good at first. Lashley grabbed Benjamin, man. He grabbed Benjamin, picked him up, man. He just grabbed Alexander by the shoulder, and he just threw him. And then after that, man, he just started beating the living daylights out of him, man. It was just as ugly as that match against Kofi a couple weeks ago. Awful, man. I was like, wow, man. But, you know, I went ahead and gave that match a 4-star, man, because of what Lashley done, man. He lacerated at Alexander and Benjamin, man. That was horrible. That was horrible. And I'm like, man, if they continue on, if they need to continue on with this run, man, of his dominance, man. If they do that, man, I'm just like, that will look real good for the company.
He need to do that against Goldberg.
Yeah, yes, he does.
Because nobody would see that coming.
That's right. And Lashley has no plans on going to Hollywood or anything like that.
No.
Vince don't have to worry about that, man. But Lashley is, man, they need to continue to work that angle, man, and
he need, like I said, he need to show that dominance against Goldberg.
Yes, he does. Yes,
nobody will see that coming. Everybody, Goldberg. We know Goldberg ain't got it no more.
Man, they will have to pay Goldberg a lot of money to do that. And, you know,
Goldberg ain't got it no more, man, because
he doesn't.
He almost killed The Undertaker.
Yeah. But
he almost killed The Undertaker, man. He ain't got sloppy. So, I mean, you got to think, he ain't got sloppy. So, why not have Bobby Lashley just run straight through him, man?
Yeah, they should.
Nobody will see that coming.
Yeah, I hope. And the only person, man, I can see stopping him, man, slowing him down, man, is Brock. They will have to get Brock back in there.
And I said it before, that's the only and the whole reason Bobby Lashley even left MMA, so he could fight Brock Lesnar. Right. That's the only reason he came back.
But, man, that would be, man, I would love to see that. But like I said, that brought the show up, man. I give it a 4-star. But the next match, man, and you know, the next match, man, was Riddle against John Morrison. And, man, I know in the Miz, man, I know that's Michael's guy, man. And I know you like Drip too, man. I know you like John Morrison, man, and all that. But, man, that right there just and I'm gonna tell you one of the reasons I like John Morrison. I like his skill set, man. I think
his skill set is amazing.
I think he's a great wrestler, man. That match he had against Ricochet, that's one of the best matches, man. That's a historic match.
Speaking of Ricochet, did you go back and watch Ricochet with Ospreay?
Okay.
Did you go back and watch that?
No, I didn't, man. I remember you told me about that.
Yeah, go back. Yeah. Go back and watch that. Okay. Oh, we got some comments here. Hold on. Hill Carmichael says Goldberg shouldn't come back. He admitted that he couldn't do a long match anymore, and he likes Johnny.
Right. Okay.
And I agree. Hill, I agree with you 1,000%.
Yes, I do too.
Goldberg can't do long matches no more. So you got to do your moveset quick, boom, 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 and get out of there.
Right.
That's why I said if the way the match should happen, Goldberg gets in a couple of moves, okay, and then he goes for something. Bobby goes for a spear. Bobby moves. He hits the ring post. Goldberg shook, and Bobby just runs through him. Just punishes Goldberg. Just punishes him.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody would see that coming. Nobody would see Goldberg getting dominated like that.
Right.
Go ahead and do that. Get it over with. 1, 2, 3. Lashley keeps the belt. We can move on to something else.
Well, man, they're gonna make it where it's a battle. They're gonna make it where it's a battle. Either way it go.
That's gonna be a mistake.
Yeah,
gonna be a mistake.
And like you said, Hill, Goldberg said he couldn't go as far as he can't go long anymore.
Yeah.
But so they're gonna try to make it where Goldberg can hit his mark real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe Lashley take him out after that. But Lashley is not gonna have to do too much to really take him out. But I don't know, man. I really don't know. But yeah, it's just I don't know how long Goldberg is gonna last after this. If he's gonna stay in the if he's gonna stick around.
He better not.
Yeah, but
but back to this match with Johnny, man.
Yeah, it's okay. Back to the match with Johnny. Excuse me. But man, I'm sorry. This man, this is another thing, man, that takes me back to the old days of Raw, man. And it's not the Johnny. I mean, he's a great wrestler. They've had great wrestlers before. I just think their gimmick is just I don't know. It just done got on my nerve, man. I'm like, here's the serious wrestler, this great wrestler, and then he's out there, and they got doggone and man, these jokers got these doggone water gun sticks, man. they spraying everybody. And Riddle did pretty good in this match. I think Morrison was basically dominating him, and then Riddle got, he came in with his few moves, man. You know how he always surprising somebody, man.
Yeah.
He'll get out of something, man, with some kind of twist, and then he'll hit you with one of those patented knee shots. And actually, Morrison to beat him. That's the first time because I really like Riddle. I wanted Morrison to beat him because I like Morrison.
You like the barefooted Wonder, man.
Yeah, but
you like Kevin Von Erich 2.0.
Yeah. But the Miz hit him with the doggone water, man, from the outside. Riddle turned around, man, and that was it. Like I say, and John Morrison got him from there, man. But I don't know, man. It really wasn't that good of a match, man. I give the match a 2.5. But like I say, man, that all this water stuff, man, and all that, it just takes me back to the stuff that I remember, man, back in the old days, man. And I just really didn't like that. And we was talking about one time before, and you said you really weren't gonna speak on it, man. It's just like that honky tonk man run, man. I was just like, that's one of the dumbest things I ever seen.
Did you really just go to?
Yeah, I did.
You really just go there?
Yeah, I went there, man. Yeah, I went there. You like honky tonk, man.
Man, I gotta log off this podcast. Just man, ain't nowhere in the world you let that come out your mouth, man.
I'm messing with you, man. We're gonna move on from that, man, because they had some more stuff that went down, man. But Johnny Drip is a great talent, man, and I think this was this Riddle guy. He's pretty good, but John Morrison put him in his place. And John Morrison brought him down a peg, man. And Riddle didn't look that good against Morrison, man. Riddle, I was like, man, but Morrison, he's just a step above him, man. Morrison is a guy they need to just continue to push, man. They need to push. He's one of the top guys in the business. Next match, man, was R-Truth versus Reginald. Man, what you think about what you think about R-Truth now? Because I mean, he actually won the title. He won the world. He was a world champion. What do you think about him, man?
Okay.
Give me your honest opinion, man. Give me an assessment of what you think of this guy.
Okay. Whew, okay, history lesson. I'm a color commentary for APW, American Pro Wrestling.
Right.
Here in a town up the street, Bowling Springs, South Carolina. And I do in-ring interviews. All right. Well, give you a little history lesson. Back in the day, R-Truth was a talent for American Pro Wrestling.
Right.
Okay. He wasn't R-Truth then. He was oh shoot.
I didn't know he wasn't R-Truth then.
He was something else. He was something else. But it'll come to me, but I can't think of it right now. But he Ron Killings.
Yes.
Ron Killings. That was it. Ron Killings. I knew it was something. Thank you, Hill. Thank you. Ron Killings. But he was a talent for American Pro Wrestling back in the Indies, back in the day. Excellent, man. Excellent. Duke was awesome. Could go. I mean, could just tear it up. Then he went to TNA. Became the second NWA champion. Okay.
That's where I remember him
after Ron Simmons. But I digress. We're gonna talk about that later on.
Okay.
We're gonna get you know I'm going with that. We're gonna get that later on.
Right.
So R-Truth, he has a resume, but they have watered him down so bad and made him a clown. When he came in WWE, he came in with an attitude and some edge.
Right.
For some odd reason, he didn't connect with the fans. That it was a disconnect there. It was a disconnect somewhere. I don't know why, but it was a disconnect. And they moved him to this more comical kind of thing.
Right.
And that it clicked. And that's where we are now. But we all know he can still go, even though he's like 50-something years old.
Mm-hmm.
He can still get in there and do it. But this match with Reggie, Reggie is he was in that Cirque du Soleil circus.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was in that fancy circus.
Wow.
Soleil. Yeah, he did that before he came to WWE.
Wow, man.
That's why he was an acrobat. So that's why he's able to do all them flips and twists and stuff like that.
Yeah, because the match, man, because R-Truth, he come out there, man. I want my baby. He's talking about that.
He's talking about the belt. And he had on the mic and everything. And
so, man, he come out there, we're doing the song and everything like that, man. You was pumping up the crowd and all that. But then when Reginald come out there, man, he ran down that ring, man. And he did that flip over that rope, man. He did some. He run down and he did a twist, man, and he bounced off his right leg, and then he just, and he flew over it like he was doing a high jump, man.
Yeah.
Competition and flipped over and jumped into the ring, man. And R-Truth was just like, that was amazing, man. I was just like, oh my gosh. And then, man, he proceeded to do all this stuff in the match. R-Truth really couldn't get a hold of him.
Yeah, man. And it was crazy too, man, because for a while, Reggie was actually with, like you said, Jeez Louise. Nia Jax.
And
He was
Shayla
with-
and
and,
Shayla and
and
Shayla.
yeah,
Shayla Baszler. Shayla
Shayna
Baszler.
Baszler.
Yeah.
And he was wrestling women for a while.
Right.
And the only reason why, because he's the only one that's athletic enough to look good against the women and do it safely.
Right. Right.
Because as an acrobat, and being in the circus, you work with all kind of people. You work with men and women, and you got to
Right.
be able to do the stunts with your counterparts, male and female,
Right.
and do it safely. So, I mean, he's good at what he does, but now, okay, that's over with. Now you got to prove yourself against the boys,
Right. Right.
and sooner or later, this flipping and flopping and like you a fish out of water stuff, somebody gonna catch you, man. And because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you watch SmackDown tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he wrestled Chad Gable
Okay.
for the 27 7-Eleven I-85 285 North QT Heavyweight Championship, and and he looked good, man. But he was doing a lot of that flipping and flopping and stuff, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, R-Truth couldn't really get a hold of him. And Reginald, man, I give Reginald kudos, man, for all that athletic stuff, man. And
Yeah.
Reginald went ahead and won the match, man. But I think the match was, man, it was trash, man, when it boils down to it. It was trash.
I mean, you got R-Truth mic'd up there talking, trying to wrestle.
Yeah. On, but man, I gave that match a 3, man. I just, like I said,
you gave it a what?
I gave it a 3. No, not a 3. I gave it a 0.5. That's what I meant to say.
I'm about to say, man, what?
I didn't mean to say 3, and I was looking at something else. I gave it a 0.5, man, because it was pure trash, man. I'm just like, man, even though Reginald did all those things, man,
it wasn't enough. It wasn't, yeah.
No, it just, I'm like, man,
and he does it so much.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, can he really wrestle?
Yeah, that's right. Me too.
Can he really wrestle, or is that the only thing he can do?
Yeah, right. But then we move on to the match with Nikki Ash and Charlotte Flair. Man, it was pure destruction, man. It was.
I already know Charlotte. I already knew Charlotte probably ripped a new one.
Man, she beat the living daylights out of him, man. And I mean, just, woo, man. And them chops, man. I mean, she had the girl so red on the chest, man. And she had a bleeding from her nose, man, under that mask.
Ooh.
She beat the living daylights out of Nikki. Nikki got a few moves in there, man. But she really got rolled up in this match, man. I mean, she got drugged. And it was totally embarrassing, man.
That don't sound good at all.
No, it wasn't good at all. And I'm just like, Charlotte kept on telling her in the match, you ain't good enough to be in this ring with me. You shouldn't even be in this ring with me. You ain't on my level. She kept on talking to her throughout the whole match, saying things like that to her. Like when Ali was talking to Jimmy Lyles, I think that's the boss's name, but Ali kept on saying, say my name and stuff like that. What's my name? But that's the way she was talking to her, man. She was talking down to her, man. She was, just like garbage, man. And she pinned her. I mean, she finished her off with I can't exactly remember which move it was. She didn't put her in a figure 4 leg lock or anything like that. But Charlotte got the win. She pinned her, and then after the match, man, Nikki still talking about I almost. She went to that almost beat her again and stuff like that, man. I'm just like, come on, man. They still with this stuff. I'm like, wow. And
almost is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah. But I give Charlotte I give her a 5 for the match. So
and I almost wanted to watch Raw.
Yeah, but I give it a 4. But overall, man,
you see the look on my face, right? I almost wanted to watch Raw.
Yeah, I know. Well, I gave Raw a 3. That's what I went ahead for some reason. I put that match and it was something else that made that pulled it up because at first I had it at a 2.
What, the commercial breaks?
Huh?
The commercial breaks.
Actually, that's one thing I wanted to say too. Is a couple commercials. That was the best thing about the show. Some of the show when they split the screen, man. Some of the commercials, I'm like, this is the best thing about the show, man. But the Bobby Lashley, the way Bobby Lashley, the way he decimated Shelton Benjamin and Corey Alexander in this match right here, what she did to Nikki Ash, man. I felt bad for Nikki Ash, man. But I also feel bad for Benjamin and Alexander, man. I mean, and the way they got these two men dominating, the way that they're putting them over, man, I thought it looked real good for Raw. It really looked good for them, but they just got to get their act together with the whole show. If they can do that, man, hey, they'll be amazing. And the sad thing about it is they have the talent to do it. So, it's nobody's fault. Except for them. It's except for Vince and his executives around, whoever's making these decisions.
His yes men.
Because who?
His yes men.
Yeah. And it's these guys, man, that's making the decisions that's making it look bad, man. But it's actually better than what it's better than what it could. It's better than what it's not as good as what it could be. It's way lower than that because, like I say, they have the talent.
I'm about to say, get your words right now because you talking crazy. Talking about it's way better now.
No, I didn't mean to say it's way. I was trying to say they have way better talent than what they're actually displaying.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's what I mean, man. But
okay, that makes sense because I was about to say what? Bro, what?
I'm just saying they have way better talent than what they're giving us, man. So it's a sad state of affairs, with WWE Raw. And hopefully they change this thing up, man, and get it right. And because you have a lot of people complaining about this thing, man. A lot of people, man. They wrecking the show. They run it down. With WWE Raw is pretty much wrecking itself.
Yeah.
But people running it down, man. So it's a wreck when it comes down to it. But we're gonna go ahead and end this show. And we'll be back with another show. Chris, you want to go ahead and close it out? Yes.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this segment of the show. We will be back, and we will be posting this on YouTube. So if you watch it on YouTube, we need for you to hit like, kill that like button, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for all the latest notifications.
Ding, ding.
Yes, ding, 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 like my man Michael King.
Yeah.
Who's in Georgia right now at a wrestling show. And so when we go live, you will have those notifications, or when we post videos or anything of that nature, you'll be right there with us. And follow us on Facebook, which we're on live right now. Continue to follow us, comment, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you like to see in the show, what you like for us to talk about. Because you're as much as part of the show as we are, because we want to talk with you, not at you. So, for this part of the show, it is I, Christopher Burton, the People's Podcaster, and my man,
Harry Taylor, HBT.
And we will see you once again in a few. Until then, we are out. And in the words of my man, Michael King, peace be the journey.
Yes.